I'm Noah, your new Monday guy for Transat Tumblr's channel, and I'm welcoming myself to the group by making an intro video before I move on to this week's topic. I am 21 years old, living in Rhode Island, which is the state between Connecticut and Massachusetts on the East Coast. I've been on testosterone for a year and a half, and I'm currently saving up money for top surgery and or hysterectomy. It's slow going, but it's going. Some of my hobbies are writing, reading, um, archery, running, swimming, hanging out with friends. It's not really a hobby. It's more like doing stuff. Uh, and being on the computer. My sexuality is pansexual, so I'm attracted to anyone regardless of gender and or gender identity. I'm single, but I might as well be taken, so sorry. I'm really bad at introductions. I'm sure a lot of people are though, and like I'm even bad at like written introductions because somehow I end up writing like either like one sentence or I write like a whole novel of my life, and that is why I'm bad at introductions. Um, and same goes for even talking about myself because I will just talk and talk and talk, and nobody wants that. So, I think we're just gonna move on from my small introduction and actually go straight into this week's topic so I don't have to embarrass myself any farther. Alrighty, so this week's topic, I believe, is loneliness. That's what it says on their Tumblr. Any isolations that may come from transitioning, how to connect with people more confidently, how to boost your own self-esteem. I can think, before I began my medical transition, I felt really isolated, like I'm sure many have, or many still do before me, because transitioning is not an easy thing. It's not something that can be taken lightly. It's not something that you want to just jump into. It actually took me a whole year before I finally decided that medically transitioning was the right thing for me to do. Because before I was not so sure, and I was actually almost against it. I didn't think it was necessary for me, but in the long run, I realized it was. So here I am. So yes, I have experienced loneliness because I do suffer from depression and anxiety disorder. So on top of that, I mean, being trans is really a lonely experience, and transitioning in itself is also a lonely experience because nobody knows what you're going through when you're doing your injections, and all the changes that happen. I mean, even I'm sure even when the time comes for the surgeries, I'm sure I'm going to feel a sense of loneliness because I'll be parting from something that I grew up with since the moment I came out of my mother's womb, you know? I mean, of course, I'll be happy to get rid of things that I don't want, but I know a part of me will be isolated from everyone because I know a part of me will be depressed. A part of me will not fully accept that I actually have gone through with this. I will tell you right now, when I first began my transition, I was in a really depressed. I started at a really bad time in my life. I had just gotten out of a relationship, so I was really lonely and really isolated, and I was just starting testosterone, and that did not go well. It clashed. My emotions just clashed. I was either really, really upset or really, really down in the dumps, and I was really suicidal. And I've actually been suicidal before. Not to get into too much detail, but I have gone to a psych ward before, and that was maybe like 2, 3 years ago. Um, and because I almost tried to kill myself. So, and I was at that same place where I wanted to die, and maybe not necessarily because of my relationship, but because so much was going on at once with starting testosterone and getting out of a relationship that everything just kind of fell apart at once. So I felt really alone, and I felt like nobody was there for me. Even though there actually were people there for me, I didn't feel like there was. So it can be really lonely. However, um, as time went on, I started to connect with people. I started to be more confident about myself. Actually, I'm actually a lot more confident now in person because I am seen as how I'm supposed to be seen. I see myself as people see me now, as I've always wanted to see myself. I mean, yes, there are days where I'm still really picky and being like, oh, I wish I had facial hair, more legitimate facial hair. I wish my voice was still deeper than it is because to me it doesn't sound that deep, but or I wish this and that. And yeah, I'm being picky, but besides all that, I know that I'm actually really happy now where I'm at in my life, and I'm happy how people see me. I'm happy how I have reached out to others, and others have reached out to me, and I can actually stand up for myself. I mean, I still have a little bit of issues where I'm kind of like, when I'm caught up in a situation, I'm not sure what to do. And people ask me to pick sides or something like that, and I'm just like, you go your way, I'll go mine. Like, things can still be a little bit. I can still be a little bit insecure about or kind of hesitant about things, but I'm actually, but I've actually gotten a lot better. Because I used to be completely. I was just a nervous wreck. I never stood up for myself. I always let people step all over me, and I don't do that anymore. I don't let people walk all over me anymore. So, and whether that's because of my transition in itself, or because I just realized that I deserve better. It has really given me a lot more confidence to be around people. And this all ties in with boosting your own self-esteem. You come into your own. You learn to accept things as they are at that moment in time. I've learned to accept that I'm probably not going to get facial hair for the next few years. I've accepted the fact that my voice probably isn't going to drop that much after maybe, by the end of this year. I've accepted the fact that maybe this is actually how my voice will sound for the rest of my life. Um, I'm also thinking about old age too. I mean, I know it's going to change as I get older, but I'm just saying that I have come to this point in my life where yes, there are parts of me that I wish things would just change more drastically, and I would see more improvement in my transition on testosterone. But I've also learned to accept that, and I've learned to be proud of where I am, because it's not always lonely. It's not always picky. And eventually you will get to a point in your life, whether you're pre-T or you're not, or you're pre-op or you're post-op or you're bottom op, whatever, whatever you want to do transition-wise, be proud of that decision. Do not listen to anyone. Do not doubt yourself. If you something is the right thing for you to do, then do it. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise, because you are better than anybody. You are stronger than anybody, and you know you best. It's lonely, but if you really think about it, there are always people behind you to support you and catch you when you fall. And I'm one of those people. So to end this first video, which happened to be a lot longer than I expected, on a good note, I bid you all farewell, and it is nice to be a part of this channel. So I will see you next Monday. Bye, everyone.